other many friends, I want to make a special thank you to the management here at Fellowship Village for permitting me to have this video shot on the premises, and also to all of my friends, both team members and residents here at Fellowship Village, who make it such a joy for me to live in this location. My name is David Badertscher. I'm a retired principal law librarian of the Unified Court System in the state of New York. So I did a number of things, both at the state and local level in New York. While working toward my BS degree at Indiana State Teachers College, which is now Indiana State University, I worked in the college library to help pay for my college tuition. After receiving my BS degree, I taught social studies in a junior high school which did not have its own library. Realizing the need for a library, the president of the local PTA came to me and said, "I know you worked in the college library while obtaining your teaching degree. Would you be willing to set up a library here at the school?" So I took that on, and I actually enjoyed the assignment. Having found fulfillment in helping to set up and maintaining that library convinced me to think of becoming a full-time librarian. And the following year, I accepted a position of becoming a librarian at Elgin Academy, a private boarding school. And Elgin Academy was the oldest prep, it's still the oldest prep school west of the Alleghenies. So so anyway, I was there for a year, and then after that, in that position, I was in full charge of the library, along with other duties, which included supervising a librarian who has already had a library degree. I felt that maybe I should have a library degree myself. I already had one master's degree, and so this would have been my second master's. So the following year I applied and was accepted at the graduate library program at Rosary College, which is now Dominican University. It's just outside of Chicago. And I received my Master of Arts degree in Library and Information Science in 1967. And at the urging of one of my professors, William Brace, who told me about a librarian vacancy, professional librarian vacancy at the University of Chicago, I applied for the position and was hired. But this is for the law school, and of course I didn't have any experience at all in the law, really. So I had to take a real crash course because I was working with Nobel laureate caliber professors, and I mean really a world-class faculty and students. And here I was, this kid who had been raised on a farm in Illinois and Indiana. And so there I was. What really drew me to the field was I enjoyed working with books. I enjoyed the camaraderie with the people and interacting with different people, and also just or the idea, the concept of disseminating knowledge, acquiring knowledge, and also disseminating it to others, information. And Professor Liddell, professor of law at the University of Chicago, called me into his office one day and asked me to take on the assignment of monitoring all developments in computer science and automation that might have some bearing on the future of the law library, and particularly the law library. And so I took on that assignment. And that was very challenging because I had had very little experience in terms of technology. Remember, this is back in the 1960s. UNIVAC and let's see, Burroughs, which of course aren't around so much now, but they were big at that time along with IBM. And IBM too, and they all gave me free courses and that sort of thing to help me to understand what the underlying aspects of the technology was. So I was really indebted. I'm somewhere upstairs, I don't know where it is, but I've got certifications for all of that. I would say that my ultimate crowning achievement was developing and publishing the Criminal Law Library blog, which, although originally intended for use by local judges in New York and staff as a means of immediately obtaining legal information on their computers, wherever they were located, whether it was their homes, whether it was on a bench, whether it was their chambers, whatever. So we needed some kind of quick, more overall quick communication for keeping them really up to speed. And so basically, I developed this blog, eventually evolved into an information service, which at time of my retirement was being consulted by lawyers, judges, and even lay persons throughout the world. At this time, I was also supervising a number of computer science interns, because one of the things I was doing I had a lot of different things that assignments I was taking off there too. This was with the courts. And I oversaw for a while a sort of a software testing program for things that would be not only of value in that court, but around courts throughout the state of New York. And so I had some interns that I worked out arrangements with a number of computer science departments and colleges around the New York area. So that's how the implementation and publishing of the Criminal Law Library blog, which I still believe overall is my crowning achievement, not because I've done other things, but because of the worldwide reach. Serving as a member of the board of directors of Metro, which is now the New York Library Council, from 1995 to 2005. And I was chairman of the Board Personnel Committee was there, and I did some other things too. But being on the board and doing different things. And the Metro, or the New York Library Council, is one of several groups like that throughout the state of New York. So we were tied in with the whole state of New York as well as local. And so I was on the board of directors of the part having to do with the whole metropolitan region down near the city and outside. Serving as a member of the board of directors of the New Jersey Festival Orchestra from 2012 until the present. I'm still on the board. During my career, I have been personally inspired by too many people to mention separately, but I am grateful to them all. And I would like, however, to highlight a few. Leon Liddell, whom I mentioned earlier. Another one was Peter Nickham, and he was a law librarian, but he was also really into one of the early pioneers in terms of developing computer research in terms of the law. And that sort of, so anyway, I was able to make his acquaintance through what I mentioned earlier. He's one of my contacts. And he really took me under his wing as far as technology is concerned and the law. And then there's John Boyle, who helped me. He was the person who helped to bring me into the New York State Supreme Court, or New York court system. And so he was basically my mentor in terms of the law, the lay of the land of the New York Supreme Court, the New York court system. And he had been around for a long time, and he knew all the ins and outs and that sort of thing. So he was very helpful. Another person I want to give really special mention to is Tamar Rom. Tamara Rom, or Tammy Rom as she went by. She was, I first hired her, I forget, back about 1981. And then she became a colleague and friend. She went on to work with the banks and ended up having worldwide responsibility at Chase, JP Morgan Chase, and until she retired. But we kept in close touch, and she was, I could feed off of her and she could feed off of me professionally and that sort of thing. So, and we kept that up actually until even after now Until recently, she worked in the New York Law Department. My family, first of all, my wife, because without her instinting loyalty and support, she was always there to lend support and comfort, both in the good and the difficult times. In other words, she was there through thick and thin. And then there was my brother John, who presently lives in Texas, and his wife Pam. They keep in close touch with me. And I go down and visit them once in a while. And they've been up here to visit me as well. And then there's my cousin, Melissa Sedlis. Melissa Sedlis is a retired physician. And so when it comes to health issues and that sort of thing, she's my go-to person. And so I keep in close touch with her as well. I would never have been able to realize my fullest potential as basically not only as a professional, but as a person, without their support. And there had also been some wonderful and loyal friends besides them. Well, I'm leaving my legacy for future generations, including future generations of my family, library and information professionals, and others who might be inspired by my life experience. If I had to summarize my life's work in a single word, what word would that be? And that was tough. I mean, I was trying to think of several different things: flexibility, adaptability, whatever. But I just settled on service. And the reason I settled on service is because all of my work throughout my life has been performed with the ultimate goal of being of service to others. All of these, whether individually, organizationally, or the world at large. Among the lessons learned in work and life for me, I've come to understand and appreciate the importance of understanding that change, as it relates to all aspects of work and life generally, is constant change. And in order to be truly successful, we must learn to become highly adaptable and flexible in order to avoid stagnation and to maintain enduring and useful connection with others. I'd like to be remembered as a person who cared for others and always strived to make a positive difference throughout his personal and professional life. The one who always tried to do that, no matter what.